I mean, if you guys have been following up with the articles that John writes, he wrote a really good one yesterday morning on KZ Okpala and just his insane defensive upside. Dude, it seems like he can almost guard all five positions. He's listed at 6'8", 6'9". What's he listed at? 6'9",
He's listed as 6'8", but
6'8". But when he's standing next to Durant, he's
yeah,
he's about Durant's size, and Durant's. I mean, Durant forever was listed at 6'9", but then he would stand next to DeMarcus Cousins, and he was taller than Cousins, and Cousins was listed at 6'11". It's always so weird. The heights. I feel like the heights in the NBA are just
very
all fudged
deceiving.
anyway. But
Yeah,
he's a tall guy. He can guard on the perimeter.
7'2" wingspan.
Yeah,
Just throwing that
7'2"
out.
wingspan. Yeah, no, that's crazy. And guard on the perimeter. He can deny shots inside. He can do it all really on defense. And I mean, the Kings need defense, right? That's one thing they've needed forever. And yeah, maybe this guy won't play the most, but who knows? Maybe I don't know. He just seems like a good guy to have in your back pocket. Davion Mitchell, is already that good defensive guy. Maybe Okpala can find some minutes here and there with injuries, and you just throw him on the best guy and just let him lock him down. But then, of course, it's the his offensive side that has some questions. He's athletic, so he can go up for oops and get to the basket on some cuts. But his shooting, I think he's shooting around 27% from three in the NBA.
Hmm.
I think last year he shot around 36, which is encouraging. But again, these are all for his offense, very small sample size. And if he really wants to find a place on this team, I mean, if he really wants to secure a spot on this team, I should say, if he can demonstrate a very efficient 3-point shot during training camp, I think it's his to lose. But
Hmm.
only in that case. I think his defense is just that good.
Yeah, I think we might have alluded to this. He has the biggest upside just for the freak athleticism. And like you're saying, if you could just get that shooting, if you could just shoot 35% somewhere around there, just be effective on a wide open attempt, keep defenses honest, then he can be a factor out there. He does other things that can make a huge difference. As you're saying, he's a great defender, does guard all five positions. He kind of has like in like highlights you can see from like his limited moments playing in Miami. You can see he can kind of be like a roving rim protector. He's not like an imposing big guy, but he can come up behind you. He can move quickly and fluidly, much in the way that kind of Damian Jones was a rim protector for this team. He just moves well and he's smart and instinctual. And I think with Okpala, especially, he's just extremely gifted at being able to get into spring into action so swiftly. And at the same time, has battled with guys like Vucevic in Chicago, and kind of he's not like barreling them back or anything or pancaking anybody, but he's hanging with them, and you know I think he has so much upside on that end, obviously. And then even on offense outside the perimeter, he has some ability, as a long, springy guy to be effective in the pick and roll game as a roll man. He has pretty decent touch, it seems like, from around the rim. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes it's kind of awkward. So it's not perfect. He'll need to perfect that and really prove that he can be effective in that role. Uh, of course, it's like he has a huge uphill battle for that to be even like a primary option for the offense or anything like that. But there's something to work with there. And then even on the 3-point shooting front, what he'd need to do is do catch and shoot attempts. He'd be in a free flowing passing offense where you have penetration from Fox and Sabonis running things from the high post or even the low post. He might end up with a lot of open looks in the corner or on the wing or from the top, and he needs to hit those. And it seems like, I think he is shooting about, he's a shooting under 30% in the NBA. I know that, or around there, and from three. And if, of the ones that he is hitting, he's already hitting those types of ones. So he has a comfort level with what he needs to do. And speaking of comfort level, I would say the one added element that's really interesting about Okpala is that, he got drafted 2 years ago, and in 2019, I think,
Yeah,
or and
I think it was
so
19. Yeah,
it was right before the pandemic hit. And so that year, he got traded like a little bit after the draft. It wasn't directly after the draft, but it was after a certain threshold where he couldn't participate in summer league for the team he got traded to, which I think was Miami. And then the next year, with the pandemic having happened, there was no summer league. And then this past summer, which is his last eligible year, I believe, to be in the summer league, he was awful because the Heat supposedly, I would assume, wanted to see him hit threes. They wanted to see him do that. So he was shooting a lot of threes. They were setting up a lot of threes, and he just putting up these horrible percentages and not utilizing him to the things that I was alluding to, what he can do closer to the basket offensively. And again, it's not like I'm a scout or anything. Like, I read Miami Heat writers saying that. So it's like I'm just accumulating from, all the free time I have to do that stuff. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, now it's like he's coming to a situation where he's gonna, he didn't get to do any summer league or anything like that, but there was no bumps in the road in this offseason. He got his offer to come to training camp and fight for a spot. He's rejoining Mike Brown, who coached him at the Olympics, and he has an opportunity to he has a runway here to take off if he's destined to do that. So, upside is huge with him, and he has an opportunity to fulfill it to some degree, at least. And I think he's a guy that is interesting to keep an eye on, especially out of all three.